You can't. Have you received the invite? I'm not sure why. Don't know why that would be. Huh. Say something? Can't hear your chat audio on the stream. Start share play. Can I start share play? Oh no, you can't. That's not something you can do while broadcasting. I'm just gonna try re-inviting you. Is he not doing it? Interesting. So you can't see my screen? Okay, there might be a bit of a delay. Bear with me. Is it devices? Audio devices? Yeah, I know. That's because I'm looking through my settings. It's saying that you should be able to hear you, but your audio's not coming up at all. Right. Well, the audio should have come through. And I also can't hear you guys. What do I Google it? No, I don't think there is. You sure you don't want to just try? You got it, so you can see my screen. You got it, so you can see my screen. Still can't hear your audio though. Oh, right. I see. Well, yeah, just leave that then. Just watch on your channel on YouTube then. Yeah, no, I'm just like having a look to see what the sitch is. I'm doing some troubleshooting. If you're watching right now, by the way, hello, I can hear my team, but you can't. Yeah, so they're saying things to me. So it sounds a bit disjointed what you're hearing, but essentially, oh, it's so hard to do this. It's so hard to keep talking consistently and having a conversation with somebody that nobody else can hear. It must be a little. It would, because the loading screen is just excuse me, just sitting there. This is extremely frustrating because like I've got all the settings ticked for this to work, right? Have a look at your party settings. If your microphone.
See if this helps.
Well, we're back. Hopefully we're back. Let's see if this works.
There'll be a delay, don't forget.
Yeah.
Well, we're back. We can hear you on the stream! This is fantastic! Wow, this is a lot less composed than we were hoping. But we're here. Hello, this is vroomula1. My name's Els and I'm joined by Lisa.
Hello!
And I'm joined by JJ.
Hey!
How are you all doing this evening?
Glad that we got this shit sorted out
it was
finally.
Literally, it was the whole time we were like, oh, there's nothing we can do, and it was only something that we could do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh well, hey, we figured it out eventually.
Yep.
Hell
We
yeah.
made it. Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
Cheers, bombs.
Bombs!
So this is the first time we are appearing in a sort of public facing situation together.
It's true.
Since we did our inaugural vroomula1 video. Which was quite a few months ago. That was in March.
It was in March.
You guys were both involved in that. Well, I mean, obviously Lisa was involved in that because, you know, co-creator of vroomula1 Lisa.
Of course.
Of course, but like we were so blessed to have JJ be involved in that video.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
And
also, yeah, we were talking about it was me and Matt, wasn't it? Just like riffing away.
Yeah, so essentially for that first video of the season, which was sort of a look at all of the new paint jobs, we called them liveries because that sounds better than paint jobs. It's true.
I prefer paint job actually. I didn't know that was an option. I'd like to.
It wasn't because you weren't making the video. It was never an option.
I from now on will stick with paint job because livery is a silly word.
Do you remember offhand what your favourite livery was that you saw coming up?
I think was it Toro Rosso or not? No, yeah, AlphaTauri. I think it might have been that. Although I think I might have also nicked Matt's favourite. It might have been Matt's favourite one.
It was all our favourite ones.
To be fair,
actually, I feel like Matt's favourite might have been the McLaren, and my favourite was also the McLaren.
Oh, I don't even remember. Honestly, yeah, no. Now you're
Orange
asking the
and
question.
blue,
I barely remember any of the liveries. Orange and blue.
I'm not.
That's fine.
Way too much effort.
I remember
There'll be a chance to
Alpha
see them
Tory
later.
one, which was beautiful.
Well, actually, no, there won't be a chance to see them later because we're playing on the old game. The new game hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
I'll just go rewatch the video we made. You know.
Yeah, yeah. We'll wait.
Yeah,
We'll wait
sort of
13
start
minutes for everybody watching to go and watch that video.
16 minutes.
16. I don't
Come
even
on,
know the
come on.
length of my own videos.
That video was ridiculous to make.
It took us a
It
whole
was
week to make that.
ridiculous. It was 6 days of work.
And by us, it took Lisa 6 days to...
No,
Because
it's
I did
alright,
very
kind
little
of.
work for that video.
You didn't do very little, just didn't do as much.
It was intense though. It was an intense time. It's just crazy to
feels
think that
like-
we were all sat in that because we had a base in this student home that like the majority of people were living, the majority of our group of friends were living in, and we like had crammed in there, sat in the living room to record it, shown all the pictures on like the communal TV, and we sat in your room for like probably like 40 hours combined, just listening to the audio clips from that interview.
Definitely. That was, I think it was like 90 minutes of audio.
Oh my god, was it really?
And you condensed
that
it down
we
to
had to go
10
through.
minutes.
Yeah, and to go down to 10 minutes, which ended up ballooning
Into
to
16.
16 because there was just so much.
That's still not bad. Like, actually, that is not bad at all. Like, I mean, not that you would have made a half-an-hour video, but
There
like,
was
I'm
so-
impressed that you
literally,
didn't
yeah,
just
there
get
was-
stuck.
This is the thing of just like, it was 90 minutes of audio, but you gotta remember that probably,
Yeah.
a good 75% of that is just bullshit.
Yeah. Or just even like dead silence or like parts of the conversation where we're just being like,
Yeah. Some of them, like, some of those parts are like 2 sentences from each people, and the actual things were like 20 solid minutes of just complete rambling,
Yeah.
of which there was like 1 usable sentence from each person. And
I guess the way
God,
I'd
that was
the way I describe the video, the production of it, and the release of it was very much sort of a dry run. That's funny.
it was a pilot episode. I've been
That's
saying this,
funny
it was a
because
pilot episode.
that's a driving term as well.
It is. It is also a driving term.
Pilot
so,
drive.
that was such a.
also. Sorry.
Who's your favourite Formula 1 pilot?
Who is
But I feel-
Hamilton?
Lewis
I feel like we've already come such a long way. You know, I think 3 months ago I couldn't even have imagined doing a stream like this. So can I just say before we get into the thing of it, blessed to be involved working on this project with
Aww.
my compatriots.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Blessed also, my guy.
Also
yeah.
blessed.
I'm
Also
feeling
blessed.
this is great. I was really worried because when it was starting off, it just sort of felt inevitable. Like, well, this isn't going to work, and the dream is dead. But it is not. Dream lives on. Hell yeah, dude.
Just realised that the
On that
name of
note-
this stream, I set the stream up and I didn't even change the name of the stream, so I'm gonna have to do that briefly. But I've been grinding significantly in Formula 1 2019 on ranked. Lisa will know that I've spent so many hours of her time just talking about the way that the rating system works. So I'm going to pull up my license and we can see that I'd made the goal a couple weeks back that I wanted by the time F1 2020 comes out to get to silver level 50 and a safety
yeah, I
rating
remember
of
you
A.
mentioning this.
And
Did
it's
you
been
not
hard.
finish your challenge then?
Well, we're already on the way there because if you can see on the screen, I'm silver level 41. 2 weeks ago, two or 3 weeks ago, I think I just cracked silver. I just got onto like
Nice.
silver
Hell yeah,
level
bro.
0. So I'm very proud of the amount of XP I've managed to amass.
That's what
always
sitting
fun.
in the house being able to play video games all day would do, right, my guy? I don't know if anyone's heard of the game Brawlhalla, but I managed to advance in that to level 30 in the space of like 2 weeks because of just nothing else but playing that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the thing. I've been furloughed from work, no longer making the big burgers, but able to sink a significant amount of time in this game, which only on very few occasions does it make me actually feel good. It's very addictive.
That's how I feel about Clone Hero.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's just rage-inducing, like
Honestly, it's just like I suck, and then occasionally it's like, hey, I did really good. And the rest of the time, it's just I suck.
And then the one time you do good is what keeps you coming back as well.
Honestly, that's the thing.
Yeah, man. Like describing fucking addiction, Jesus. It's almost like video games can be addictive.
Almost.
To what? That warning at the start of the game where you're like, take regular breaks? I thought that was just a joke. I thought that was
I
just
used
like
to
an
roll my
intro.
eyes at that, but now I don't have any eyes.
Right? You know what, right? The video game, like, make sure you take regular breaks thing is the same as fucking Netflix's, like, are you still watching? It's like, yes, Netflix, stop judging me.
Funny, I do always feel judged by that.
Always. And the same thing is, like, make sure you take regular breaks. It's like, you and I both know I'm not going to do that.
My version of regular breaks is remembering to blink often enough that it's like that's the thing. That's why your eyes hurt. It's just that you don't blink as much when you're looking at screens. So if you like take a minute every hour to just remember to do some blinking exercises, eradicates the need for breaks. True
It
fact.
does. Well, this is
Real
going to be
anxiety.
especially pertinent for me tonight because I'm still wearing contact lenses from the day. Big mistake because my vision's already slightly blurry. I don't know if anybody knows, but like.
Does that mean that you have vision sickness?
Whoa, that's
I'm glad
funny.
you thought, because I was gonna say that.
Look, the
Yo.
comedian has
It's
entered
alive.
the live stream.
I'm here all night and every day. I can do weddings, bar mitzvahs, and any professional event.
It's your one
Uh,
joke. It's just
Yeah.
my friend has contact lenses that are making their eyes hurt.
Thanks,
Their YouTube channel.
thanks to the way that you
Make
prefix.
jokes yourself. I'm done. Good night.
Thanks to the way that you prefix that sentence, we're now gonna get a copyright strike from the Kinks.
What?
Well, you were talking about all day and all of the night.
I don't even know what song you're referring to.
It's All Day and All of the Night by the Kinks.
Fair enough.
It was so funny that it felt like the intro. I was half expecting that song to start playing now. Like that felt so radio.
Because everything
Shit,
else he
don't-
does publicly sounds
don't-
like a radio
Look,
show.
don't tell everybody that I've got a background in radio. We're getting onto it. We're joining the lobby. We're getting into this. It's going to be an
Oh yeah, I
evening.
haven't actually. Yeah, I need to see the. Oh nice. Yeah, Lisa's put the thing so I can see the stream now. You got this.
Yeah.
Where are we racing first? Do you not find out until it started?
Well, so I've jumped into the lobby and we're already going. There's already one shot qualifying going ahead. So I'll just briefly explain how F1 ranked works. Nobody's ever seen it before. You get put into a lobby based on your skill rating, which is the little chevron with the colour. So I've got a silver. I'm a silver. I'm at about 1900 points at the moment. You can see they're just doing their qualifying laps. And I'll try and keep it on whoever's the fastest on track, which at the moment is Carbo Kart. It's a good username.
Is that the one you settled on with the red car?
The red car. You can see actually in the timing tower. But let me briefly explain. So I'm in a lobby with people who have got similar safety ratings to me and people who have got about the same amount of points when it comes to the skill rating. So they're all going to be B or C safety rating. Congratulations, Carbo Kart. Pole position. You must be chuffed with that. And you get the way that these races work. There's one shot qualifying, so you've got to go and do your perfect pole position lap, which Carbo Kart has just set a 128.3. And yeah, you can actually see where it says license. That column is going to disappear. But yeah, whenever you you see the classifications, you'll see the license, and you'll see that in the lobby as well. But yeah, so you get the one-shot qualifying, you've got to do a perfect lap, you get disqualified if you cut any corners, you get disqualified from qualifying if you exceed the track limits, so it's high pressure stuff, getting a good one-shot qualifying lap, and then what follows it is a 5-lap race. Damage is a real issue. It's limited, but it can be it can be race ruining. So we're about to go into a 5-lap race at the Bahrain International at the Sakhir circuit in Bahrain, and you're gonna see.
Are you starting right at the back here?
I'm starting.
You didn't get to do qualifying.
I'm starting in 6th.
Is that all there is?
So you see in the top.
Oh no, yeah, someone's behind you, I guess, because they must have been disqualified for some reason.
And they've got a terrible start. The guy behind me. Really hope I'm not going to get rammed from behind. That was a bit naughty of me because I just tapped the back of this blue car here.
Yeah.
Didn't get a warning for it,
We've got a delay, so I just spotted that. I just saw you do that. Yeah.
So, well, I'm going to try my hardest to not make a pig's ear out of this. This is first race of the day. Gotta keep focused.
You've not crashed yet. This is
I've
going
not crashed
well
yet, so this is going really well.
Ooh, nice. Well done.
So this gives us a good opportunity to get into the meat of our stream. Formula 1 has been on hiatus for about 3 months. It's nearly 3 months since the Australian Grand Prix was due to take place.
Supposed to happen, yeah.
I
was going to ask, actually, is Bahrain one of the ones that was also cancelled, like that we're just not going to see for this season because it's been and gone?
Bahrain was one of the races that's actually been postponed, and there is we're definitely going to have a Middle East part of the season, hopefully, if everything stays on course. So Bahrain's going to switch from its usual early slot in the calendar to being, I think, possibly the penultimate race of the season.
Oh, damn. Hell yeah. This is a good track, so I'm happy about that. I like this place.
Yeah, it's really fun to drive. That turn 1, which we've just gone through, is critical. But these guys in front are kind of pulling away from me.
I was about to say, again, like, we've got a slight delay, but yeah, you gotta catch up, my guy.
It's difficult.
Pedal to the metal.
Fuel saving is actually something to think about. I know people on the stream can see that I've got this racing line on, which is essentially telling me where to brake, and the line to follow through the corners.
Okay, clear.
And I understand that some people might think that this is not the proper way to play the game, but at the end of the day, video games are for having fun. And if we're having fun here, that's all that matters. If you got any racing line hate, go leave it into Matt Marduk's live chat.
Get off the back of elsiec straw people who may or may not actually exist. I mean, you are right though. I'm sure there's people who have this, like, because it's like, if the racing line isn't there, then you would still be racing the same line. Like, it's just, I know I need it. I don't think I could even, like, I don't think I'd be able to get past a corner in Formula 1 without
I've actually
the racing
turned my fuel mix up to high. If you can see, it'll come up. There's the multi-function display in the bottom right-hand corner. And it says fuel mix there, and I'm on mix 3, which is rich, so I've got maximum fuel burning at the moment, which means that I can get better acceleration out of the corners. So I'm hoping, and I was within a second, so I got DRS for this corner.
Yeah, you caught up a lot. Oh, they're still shooting off though. You got this though. Yeah, you're catching up a lot more this time on this straight.
We should be able to keep it a mix 3 for the majority of the race. This is where that's where my racecraft, I feel, comes into its own, is managing the things, managing the way that your car runs on the multifunction display. And you can see that in the bottom right hand corner. I will briefly, once I've manoeuvred this little complex, show you what else the multifunction display can show you. So that's the settings really, but you can like adjust the downforce, which I never do. You can see your tyre wear, and that's a little graphic to show you how well all 4 tyres are doing, and that screen there will also show any damage that you get. Oh, and I've just put it on the curb and taken someone out. Somebody is. I got a 3-second time penalty for that.
Oh no!
Car undamaged.
Whose fault was that? Was that yours or was that theirs?
I made an honest mistake. My car was out of control. You could argue that they didn't slow down for the yellow flag area, but ultimately I got the penalty there because I made the mistake. Yeah,
that's a fair one.
But because of that, I did get 5th place, so I'm not really too upset.
Yeah, and also like man, like you said, that wasn't a Vettel like hothead idiotic mistake. That was just like that just happens. It's just what happens.
And we get on to the golden rule of F1 2019, the game, and that is that the curbs are death. Don't go on the curbs.
Yeah.
Because they want it, they're out for you. If you're turning towards the curb on the inside, so if it's a curb that curves around to the right and you're turning right, you don't want to be putting any power really into the wheels at that point, because that is a surefire way to be facing in the wrong direction, either hitting the barrier and getting damage, or completely ruining someone else's race. Yeah. So I feel slightly bad, and that's the sort of behaviour and antic that's gonna get my safety rating lowered. So if at any point you notice that my safety rating goes below a C, you gotta scream at me that I'm a loser and I'm terrible and that you hate me and that you never want to be on one of my streams again.
I will, don't worry.
I have trouble with the concept of that, but I'll get back to you.
I don't.
I'll let Lisa take that one if I'm feeling too much of a wuss. But I'll definitely let you know.
Okay, wonderful. Glad to hear it. Good job. So happy I can rely on you. So we're on the 5th lap. This has kind of been a bit of a blowout, this race. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, the others are all just too far ahead now.
I'm a little disappointed, yeah, because I had that accident. But 5th place has been in the pits. I believe 7th place is probably retired. They may have rage quit because of me, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, buddy. Hold it again. It's what happens.
elsiec vision sickness, ruining people's video game experiences since 2020.
You did it for the stream though, so...
Yeah, if this gets me just one hit, I'll be happy. I guess the only hit I've got so far is from the car behind. I'm very proud that I thought of that in such quick.
I think it's hilarious you still call them hits.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I think we've had this conversation recently anyway. But it is, yeah, it is. It's my millennial showing on my sleeve. I was born in '96. I can call myself that. Any millennials in the chat? Let us know. We finished 5th. I think now is the perfect time to segue onto some of the biggest news stories that have happened in the world of Formula 1. Let's go down to the news corner with Lisa, who I believe is a beauty queen. I can't hear you guys anymore. I put all the effort into making that segue, and there was nobody, absolutely nobody to hear it. I'm so upset that that's just cut out.
Controller died.
Wait, plug it in.
We're
back. Hello, the controller simply turned itself off. Sorry, probably should have kept an eye on that.
Well, I was left. I'm not blaming you. It's completely understandable. These things happen. I was left in a very vulnerable situation. I really hope you guys appreciated my segue.
Oh no, hang on. Elsie?
Hello?
Oh,
Connection
you're coming
issues.
through the headphones. You're coming through the headphones again. Hang on, I've got to you got to like rechange it.
I can't believe you... Sony, get on this for the PS5. Your stream...
Literally didn't save the settings.
Your stream interface is bad. But I'm lazy.
There we go.
And I can't be bothered to do it in any other way.
Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you fine. You can hear me fine?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Looks like we're going to Italy for this next race.
Cool.
That's so bad. I saw the exclamation point and I was like, oh no, technical issues. At no point did it cross my mind that, yeah, just the controller is the thing that's feeding the audio out. So if it's off, then it's not going to be able to do it anymore.
I gotta say, for a first stream ever, we've had some hiccups, but we're muddling through.
We're making it work.
We're making it work.
Hey, controller's charging. No more drops of audio shall be had this week.
Okay,
Just stop dropping the audio, will you guys? You're gonna break it.
So in order to look at these news articles, I can't look at the stream.
That's fine, because
Just
nobody's
so
watching.
You know. Okay, fair enough.
Actually, to be fair though, Elsie, if you wanted to share, do what you did before. If that's soon, obviously after this race, you can share it back onto the PlayStation, and then we can mute it so it's not got the audio.
But then we wouldn't be able to hear Elsie.
I think we can just mute it on the stream. It lets us do it in the actual web page. You know what I mean? Like it lets go and click the.
Does it? Where? That's what we tried to leave.
I know, but I hadn't thought of it until after we got rid of it. I wouldn't have been able to do.
The question I'm asking is, you're using a laptop. Can you not just adjust your window size?
Yeah, that's true.
I am smart. I thought of the ideas.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going for it. Pole lap. A pole lap in Monza, in Italy. Get on that DRS. It's tricky. You've got to get on that DRS pretty early. You've got to not drive off the track. And you've got to absolutely get the braking point right for that first corner, because it's tight, it's slow, and if you get it wrong, it's basically the end of the lap for you.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy with how I did that, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty good.
I play on... I do Monza quite a lot. It's hard to hook that first corner up.
Yeah.
This is not... It's going to be a tidy lap. I don't think it's going to be particularly fast.
Solid though.
Solid. I'm happy with that. So coming up, this next bend coming up is a Ascari. Very fast. Only have to brake for the first part. You can be absolutely on the throttle through the second and third parts of that. Take as much of the runoff as you like there, because you're not going to get penalised for that. And then we're coming up long straight, and then braking for this final corner. It's called the Parabolica, and you again want to absolutely pick your braking point correctly, because you want to be on the gas as soon as possible and come through to finish the lap. I was about a second and a half slower than pole position. Same person in pole position as the previous race. I came 5th.
Nice. That person's got it going on.
This person doesn't know how to drive a Formula 1 car that you're looking at. And
wow.
yeah,
Incredible.
they got disqualified anyway.
Incredible performance.
5th position to Vision Sickness. That's me. My question to you, Lisa, is what's your experience with racing games?
Racing games in general?
In general, because I know that you're not big on... I've only recently managed to convince you of coming over to maybe considering playing a bit of Formula 1 just by telling you that it's
Yeah.
a little bit of a rhythm game, because it is.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I have played it before. I did play it. I have played it a few times. My experience with racing games is almost entirely like arcadey races. When I was a kid, it was Crash Team Racing, which was
And I've actually never
my
played.
one.
I've never played. The only Crash racing game I've played is Crash Nitro Kart, and that was on the Game Boy Advance. And that was probably
Oh
about
no,
10
I
years ago.
didn't have that. I didn't have a Game Boy Advance. I had a hand-me-down Game Boy Color from my brother.
I love that.
But no, I had it on the PS1. I never had a Nintendo console really until like way later, so I never grew up with Mario Kart, which apparently is a whole thing. I like Mario Kart, but my heart will always belong to Crash Team Racing. It was just honestly, I do think it is high key better than Mario Kart, like just control wise and driving wise. It's just actually quite a well designed experience. Other than that, it was mostly Need for Speed Underground on the original Xbox. That was my big racing game. It was like a proper racing game.
Oh dear. Carnage. Oh, I couldn't keep it pointing in the right direction.
We're about to see. Yeah. Oh.
Ooh.
Picked my way. I like to think I picked my way through that quite well, but I believe that there was somebody making contact with me while I went through that gravel trap, so I couldn't keep controlling the car. So frustrating. Was last at the end of the first corner. So it's going to be a recovery drive here, but I'm much better here at Monza than I am at Bahrain. Monza's a very high-speed circuit with pretty similar corners. A nice variety, to be honest, but some nice tight chicanes, which I have a personal affinity for.
I have a lot of nostalgia for this track actually, because I've seen you race it so many times.
Really?
Yeah, I recognise this one.
Yeah, same.
Is this one going to be raced in the season anymore?
Well, let's get on to that later.
Yeah, it's a good segue.
Why?
Okay,
why
later,
not?
never mind.
Why not start with a look back? And this is at Lisa's discretion. What was the biggest bombshell after that Australian Grand Prix was cancelled? Sorry to put you on the spot.
After the using after the Australian Grand Prix.
Well, yeah. So just to take a little bit of a look back, coronavirus broke out in China, so pretty rapidly the Chinese Grand Prix was cancelled or postponed.
Yeah, that was in February. That was in mid-February.
And then Ferrari and AlphaTauri started expressing concerns that it might be logistically difficult to be participating in Formula 1 this season because of the impact of the pandemic.
Yeah,
and those
Italy
two were the
had it
biggest news stories.
really bad.
Oh, mother.
It's really weird being behind you because you're reacting
Oh, yeah.
to stuff. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Ooh, just overshot it.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the Ferrari and AlphaTauri were expressing concerns that because of the, at the time, quite large impact that COVID was having on Italy, that they may be locked out of travel.
Well, it's worth mentioning that Italy has seemed to have come through the other end of this pandemic, which is nice to hear.
Yeah, which is great. But it was actually McLaren that ended up having team members that tested positive for coronavirus,
Wow.
and that was what made them withdraw from the planned Grand Prix in Australia. And then the next day it was cancelled.
I think it was Mercedes, right? Who said like because other teams were sort of suggesting let's just carry on without them.
Of like maybe we should just keep going.
So I believe the situation was Red Bull. Christian Horner's Red Bull was like, I don't see why other people's misfortune should affect our competing in this event. Marking out Christian Horner to... It's a paraphrase, I guess.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not saying anything libelous, but I would like to say that I think Christian Horner is a massive donger.
Yeah, that's not libelous. We can absolutely say Christian Horner is a dick. And that's we're completely legally in the clear there.
Immediately after this conversation, you get an email. They're like watching your live stream. Christian Donger is watching your live stream.
I would have Christian Donger.
Helmut Marko has entered the chat.
Yeah, what was Christian Donger talking about?
Well, he was essentially saying that like, even if some teams can't participate, the race should still go ahead.
Yeah.
And then it was Mercedes who were like, this is unethical.
Which, you know, when Mercedes are telling you that you're not being sporting, then
that's what you fucked up.
You just gotta take a step back, deep breath, and be like, has my ego affected what I'm saying?
Christian Horner, his ego affects everything he says.
As much as I love Formula 1 as well, I feel like that's a question a lot of people involved in Formula 1 need to ask themselves.
Probably.
Oh, JJ Knight asking the hard questions.
From then on, from after the 13th, when the Australian Grand Prix was cancelled, races were just getting cancelled left and right, and all postponed. The same day, Bahrain, Vietnam were postponed. Like 6 days later, the Dutch and Spanish races were postponed, and Monaco was completely cancelled, which I think is the first time Formula 1 hasn't raced in Monaco since, I think, 1954?
That's a history fact.
Or 53. One of them, but yeah, since one of the original, like one of the first like 3 or 4 Formula 1s.
Was that just because it didn't exist?
Well, no, I think it existed.
Well, obviously Monaco existed, but like as a course, like it may not be.
Let's find this out. Go a little bit of Google.
I feel like this feels the same thing though. It's like when people are saying how crazy it is that Big Ben is not chiming for the first time. It's like, but it needs to happen. Like it sucks, but it's not.
And also, if you want to hear Big Ben chime, just go listen to the 6 o'clock news on Radio 4. They have it every night.
Sure.
Just Google video of Big Ben chiming.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, like, it is weird. Something like Monaco, even I've only been paying attention to Formula 1 for like the last 2 years, but it is so associated that it is still like, it's worth noting, right?
Okay, so this is interesting. Apparently Formula 1 was originally going to have an event in, it was included in the original, 1950 Formula 1. However, there was no race in 1951, and in 1952 and 3, just in 1952, it was in Formula 2. The Monaco Grand Prix was part of Formula 2, and it was not part of the World Championship. And then since 1955, Monaco Grand Prix has run continuously ever since until this year.
Wow.
So it's 1954 was the last year where there wasn't another, when there wasn't a Monaco Grand Prix as part of Formula 1.
I'm trying to figure out, it's like 45 plus.
We gained nothing on the safety rating. We gained nothing on the skill rating, but we went up to 88% on the safety rating. 8% B.
Nice.
So even though that was a horror show of a race, we're inching closer. If we can just keep it clean for the next few races, safety rating A is mine.
Hell yeah,
nice. Dude. Keep going.
Making history on this live stream.
Don't you mock me. I
I was
know
gonna
where
say,
you
I mean,
live.
it's like, yeah, you do. Good thing you're miles away though, because social distancing.
Can't believe I've just done this. I've just voted to go race at Bahrain again. We're going to go and race at Bahrain again. I'm ashamed.
Hey.
I'd take this
gonna
opportunity
happen.
to leave the session and find another lobby.
Oh.
Nice.
I was gonna say Bahrain would be, you know, hey, fair enough. We've already done it once, right?
So,
Gotta commit to doing
it was
different
in
tracks.
Elsie.
Sorry, excuse me, carry on.
So yeah, it was in April when, because this is leading into what is probably the biggest ongoing story at the moment. It was in April that Alfa Romeo expressed concern that having a smaller calendar and cancelling races would essentially financially cripple smaller teams with the prize structure still in place in the way it is, of which there still hasn't been any kind of change to. And then McLaren also, Zach Brown from McLaren also reiterated this, and we've kind of seen this happen. We've kind of seen
This
this.
is what happened with
This
Williams.
coming. Well, yeah, with Williams, historic British team, one of the few
Family business.
left that is like a family-owned independent team, has been financially struggling for the last 2 seasons and been doing really badly.
Yeah.
And yeah, this year with the coronavirus pandemic, it's sort of been the last straw. They can't keep their operations going, so the team is up for sale.
It's really sad because, like, it wouldn't have been, you know, they were struggling, but they could have just struggled through, especially because of what's happening with the next season and how they're changing the structure. It would have been okay.
With the budget cuts, they would maybe have a shot next year, but yeah, because of all of this, they may not even be around.
Yeah.
To do that. Who knows? If they might get bought and just will retain as Williams. Maybe they'll be bought by a benevolent force that will keep the Williams family involved.
Some
because
millionaire
regardless
Formula
of how
1
bad
fan.
they're doing, I think we all want to see the Williams family still involved.
Yeah, I really
in
like.
Formula
I can't
1.
remember her name actually.
Claire Williams.
Claire Williams. Yeah, of course, Williams. Yeah, Claire Williams is wonderful. I really like her energy and just like what she gives, like what she puts into the Formula 1. You know, like, I don't know. I was gonna say pantheon of like constructors, but yeah, seriously, she's great. Like, it sucks that there's a chance she won't be involved anymore.
The outline of this story is that on the same day as they stated that they were going to be liquidating some of their shares, they pulled out of the total sponsorship with Rocket. So we don't know for sure, but that Rocket sponsorship, the livery for that Williams car that I quote Matt DeCourcy thought looked like Speed Racer, we might not even know if it might even translate into the season. They might come in with a blank car.
That's so sad.
Oh, and that was another. I remember that
And
now
that was
because
one
they
of the
have
best
the
ones.
pink one, right? Was that the pink?
No,
that
there was the toothpaste
Oh,
one.
sorry. It was the yes. I need to actually. I'm gonna get a picture up myself to look at that again because that was such a great livery. That one actually, I think I remember that being my favorite. You know, you asked at the beginning what was my favorite. I'm pretty sure that was it. Oh fuck.
Yeah, that would suck. That would really suck.
But I guess something that is on the horizon is that the new recruit. So there was a change around in personnel, and especially in the drivers for this season. Robert Kubica has moved on to a test driver role with Alfa Romeo, taking his Orlan sponsorship with him. But they have brought in the money from Nicholas Latifi, who was in Formula 2 last year. And his father is somewhat a wealthy businessman, owner of some distribution rights for some quite big brands, including Lavazza coffee in Canada. So the sort of finger might be being pointed at Nicholas Latifi ever so slightly as to maybe swoop in and take up some of the money troubles. I don't know how to word it. But what is also interesting to note is that
Williams essentially.
what's also interesting to note is that Toto Wolff used to own a 15% stake in Williams. He sold it when he went to Mercedes. Now he now owns, I believe it's a 40% stake in the Mercedes F1 team. But this week he has just reacquired a 5% stake in Williams.
After selling it before, right? So he had 0 at one point.
He had 0 at one point.
Which is, I wonder
So what do we think
about.
this means?
Yeah.
What do we think this means? I just think it's interesting to note because Toto Wolff has got his fingers in so many pies right now. You gotta understand that he also has a stake in Aston Martin, which are returning to the grid next year in the place of BWT Racing.
Is this legal? Like, because Toto Wolff, I'm not mistaken, he's the head of one. Which one does he run again? Which team does he run?
Yeah, he's the team principal of
yeah,
Mercedes.
Exactly, yeah, he runs Mercedes. So, like, is that not like insider trading or something? I don't really know what that means, but
No, because he just owns both. He's
Yeah.
just like
Well, like,
part
owns
of.
shares
Well,
in
like
them.
he owns shares in one, and also owns shares in another, and one of them employs him as team principal.
yeah, I guess, yeah, I suppose so. I mean, it's not like politics, is it? It's not like the conflict of interest is only so far as why would you sabotage yourself if the other one's making money too? Like, it's not like
Exactly,
Yeah,
like
no.
it's a business thing, isn't it? Like he's gonna be making money from both.
no matter what.
Like, but yeah, it's one of those things of like, will he stay at Mercedes or will he move over into Aston Martin?
Fourth on the grid for the short circuit at Britain. I just gained another stack of XP, about 1,000 XP.
I have to
Fourth
admit,
out
I
of 5.
completely forgot that this was going on. I have to admit, I was not watching the race.
I'm just going to keep interjecting, you know, whenever we get some results. And if
No, it's cool.
we'll carry on as is.
How did your safety rating go up for this one?
So you don't actually get a safety rating for qualifying.
Oh,
It's just you just get XP for it.
I see. No, yeah,
So
I realised what
qualifying
you
doesn't
mean.
affect
Yeah,
your
yeah.
ranking.
But you got 4th, as in you're going to start in 4th.
I'm starting
now
the
for this
race in 4th position. There's 5 of us that qualified,
Hell
and
yeah,
there's
dude.
5 of us on the grid. Man, I don't know what it is about playing Formula 1, but I really want to buy a Rolex.
It's something about it.
I always feel that way about Lavazza, actually. When you said that, I was like immediately transported to tracks, like watching the game, like watching racing, because yeah, it's just bus everywhere. Also, Elisa, what were you saying before?
Oh, what a great pass into
Toto.
turn 1! I'm so proud of that.
Oh, we're gonna get it in
Yeah,
a second.
Ooh,
Ooh, just like
straight in there.
you in second.
I'm in 3rd.
Oh, you're in 3rd. Damn, hell yeah, though. That was insane. Climbing them places.
Sorry, carry on before I so rudely
Well, shit,
interrupted.
I'm just watching the race now.
Okay, it's on me to talk.
Yeah. No, it's fine. So what were we saying? Yes. Will Toto go to Aston Martin?
This is the
You
big
know,
thing.
Like, it's a thing that could happen. And does that mean if Toto goes to Aston Martin, will Hamilton follow him?
That's the big thing as well, because Hamilton's out of contract for 2021.
Yeah. And they have not re-signed him yet.
I remember you saying this before, and so who else was it? Because we were thinking possibly Hamilton and someone may end up being on a team together. I can't remember who it was.
Well, this is the thing. There are reports, air quotes, reports. All of this is sports journalism, so you know there's no like vetting process for any of it.
Yeah.
But,
Sports journalism, or as I like to call it, people just having a punt.
Yeah, pretty much. But yes, according to reports, there are whispers.
Are you going to say what I think you're going to say about a certain German gentleman?
I am.
Well, then we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Are we?
Oh,
Because there's more to that story. There's that story will link up when we talk about when we talk about the real silly season of how the drivers have been moving around. So
Okay.
if people haven't been paying attention, and I don't know what I've told you before, JJ, about the whole sitch.
Yeah.
But
Wait, about what? About the everything.
about
like,
the everything.
to do with the season.
Well, with Ferrari, so Charles Leclerc is
Right.
Ferrari's long-term driver now, and Ferrari
I didn't know
just
that.
just out of nowhere signed Carlos Sainz for 2021. Famed McLaren driver.
Carlos Sainz again?
Famed McLaren driver Carlos Sainz Jr. Son of Carlos Sainz Sr.
He's a sweetie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him. Okay.
And that's had a knock-on effect where that's left a vacant McLaren seat, and that was very hastily snatched up by Daniel Ricciardo after only racing for one season. He didn't even give Renault a chance to perform in 2020 before even re-signing for 2021. So he's had one
Really
season
just
with
didn't wanna
Renault
be there.
And I don't
and
get
thrown
why
the towel in.
blame him.
I think
It's mad because
2019 was a real opportunity for Daniel Ricciardo to get some perspective.
This is what I was just about to say. It's like I thought this was the person, right, who was originally driving for someone that was like Red Bull. Thank you. That was like, you know, enough that he considered himself like one of the contenders.
Second place, thank you very
And then
much.
dropped down to what in his eyes, I suppose, made a downgrade to Renault, and is immediately out there to go somewhere with a recognisable name.
Well, it wasn't even his heat to him. It was going to be an upgrade. Like he wanted it to be.
Right.
Like,
Why
it
would
was-
it have been an upgrade?
Because they were
Red Bull
having
weren't
some
treating him as a number one driver.
But also, to be
Right.
fair, in 2018, Red Bull were having a lot of engine problems, and they were having a lot of issues or whatever. So he wanted to move to another team. That to him, he looked at different teams and said that, you know, Renault were the ones that sort of seemed to be have the best plan to improve. However, who knows why he thought that? Because Renault were the ones that were providing the engines for Red Bull that kept failing, and they were switching engine providers to Honda the next year. So I really don't understand his decision. It still doesn't really make much sense to me.
He's like, he's on board the sinking ship, and then he hears that the sea might be like having some interesting opportunities.
Yeah, I think basically it did really boil down to he wanted to go to a place that would treat him as the number one driver.
Yeah.
And
You can-
and they did, but they were so much worse. He was languishing a lot of the time just out of points, like below 10.
Stats
Yeah.
incoming.
Like that's just
Stats incoming.
Huh?
We're just gonna see. We're gonna see how I've performed from that race. I finished second.
Oh, great.
I'm back up to 19, 98% progress.
Nice.
I'm happy with this.
Ooh, yeah.
I wanted to jump in there and say, in 2018, Ricciardo's final season with Red Bull, he retired 8 times that season from races.
Yeah.
8 times.
Eight
did,
races he
that
did
was
not finish.
I didn't realise it was that many, but that became like a thing that he just wasn't finishing races.
So you can understand his frustration and understand why he wanted to leave Red Bull, but I cannot see the logic. Why would you leave Red Bull to the engine supplier whose engines have been failing in your
Yeah, it
chassis
makes
with
no
a good
sense.
car?
Bizarre, man. He probably just had because also the other thing is he says like he went to the place that seemed to have the best plan, but that's like the people who actually spoke to him with the best plan. Maybe
Well,
they were
it's
the only
funny.
ones who spoke to him.
Well, this
like...
is the thing. It was between, according to him, it was between Renault and McLaren.
Right.
And
now
so
he's
now
finally
he's
going
and
to
then
McLaren.
last year, McLaren did way better
Yeah.
and Renault did way worse. So basically, he just straight up made the wrong choice.
Yeah, mate.
Like, and so he was just like, after 1 year, he was like, "Fuck this! I fucked up. We gotta move." So he moved to Renault. So he moved to McLaren.
Do you know what?
So he's gonna be racing with Lando Norris.
Good for
And
Ricardo.
that's gonna be a fun
I'm
relationship.
excited to see. It will be actually. That's true because they're both like grinny, like cheeky chaps.
I mean,
you know.
we love the bromance between Sainz Jr. and Norris. It is my OTP,
Yeah.
but Ricardo and Norris will be a nice villain for the whole little league.
Yeah. Honestly, that is quite sad that we don't have that. But you are right. I personally am gonna miss Hamilton trying to be as like respectful as possible, and Vettel just looking like he wants to murder him the whole time.
Well, this is what goes. We nicely link back to what we were talking about before.
Yeah,
Vettel does not have a seat for 2021.
he does not currently. He was sacked from sacked. His contract was not renewed with Ferrari, and he was fulfilled with Carlos Sainz.
And you're saying no one's sort of offered to like pick him up. He's not got anything like going. Yet. Oh bless.
If he doesn't get anything by the end of the season, he will be out of F1 next year.
Damn.
But the whispers are.
But
oh, there are whispers.
There are whispers that apparently higher ups at Mercedes want to sign Vettel in place of Bottas, which, while I totally get the instinct to get rid of Bottas, because honestly, who gives a shit? But Vettel,
Sorry if that. Yeah. So can I just apologise to every Bottas fan who's watching
I would not
right
like
now.
to apologise to Bottas fan and to every Bottas
I
fan.
feel that way about people who are Vettel fans because I've been shitting on him. Also, I have to amend something because I realised I knew something about that sentence was wrong. Is that he wasn't driving with Hamilton. He was driving with Leclerc.
Yeah.
He is going to potentially be driving with Hamilton, and like it's funny because like Hamilton and Leclerc feel very interchangeable for me just because they're both so good. But like Hamilton's the older, wiser one. I wonder if that would actually like maybe sort Vettel out.
Such a shitty pairing.
Yeah,
and it would be a shitty pairing because I guarantee you that Vettel. I honestly don't even know if Vettel would want it. Honestly, because he must know if he gets signed to Mercedes that he will be number 2.
Yeah.
Like, he must know that he can't be so entirely in.
You say this, but Mercedes have always been very open with the fact that they let their drivers race until the championship's on the line. So for that first half of the season, Vettel and Hamilton would be allowed to go head to head. And if it came out that there was no other contenders, it would be a fight down to the wire. However, if there was a risk that one of the other constructors and one of the other drivers from another constructor was able to take the championship away from both the championships away from Mercedes, somebody would have to fall into the number 2 role. That's how I understand that Mercedes management works.
And then at that point, I suppose at that point it would be on a race by race basis, as in whoever would be most viable in that point, they would radio and say, hey, rather than having a set choice for who's number 1 and who's number 2.
Exactly. And I know I don't want to, I'm not a Vettel fan. I think I just don't like him. I can't say any words about him because, like, I don't want to make this stream excessively not safe for work. But, like, I would get pleasure out of seeing Vettel go to Mercedes and Vettel whooping Hamilton's ass.
It honestly,
really?
I was thinking this. It's like I think Hamilton's a big enough. Like he's seemingly, unless he's just been hiding it this whole time, he hasn't got enough of an ego anymore that he would rise to that challenge. And it'd be interesting because then it would be humbling for Vettel to know that if he isn't making first. Like, if he isn't number 1 at that team, that is just on him, and he needs to get better or shut the fuck up and not, like,
but see, this
because
is the
he's
thing.
being sabotaged.
If he does well, I think if the thing is that, like, he's just, like, left to it, and he does well, and, like, then that's just going to feed into his internal narrative more that it was just a strategy.
Yeah,
Ferrari that fucked me up. It wasn't because I was a fucking idiot and made some really stupid rookie errors.
It must be said, there was mismanagement at Ferrari.
No, 100% there was, but like the amount of like apologising that I've seen for like the way Vettel was driving that season, like he was bad. Like he started it out okay.
The worst part as well is it was whenever he was either, because I can see possibly him getting frustrated with what he saw as more poor management, or just feeling entitled, like someone overtook him and he just was like, but I was supposed to be there. And I'm talking like so much stuff about someone who I don't actually know. I should clarify, obviously, but
we all are. Like,
yeah. But from what I could see from the way
I am actually friends with Sebastian Vettel.
And more. Sorry, say that again?
I am actually friends with Sebastian Vettel. We talk on a regular basis.
Oh, well, I'm sorry for talking shit on your friend then, but like,
I didn't say we were
He
friends.
seemed to get more like angry, and he would, or he would drive more like foolishly. You know, he would be more hasty, and he would make those mistakes because he was not like thinking clearly and was just driving out of anger, and that's sad to see. And then yeah, afterwards he would pull that like hurt puppy, like mopey shtick, and it just never felt like he was learning, or that he realised that actually it was his fault a lot of the time.
And I think the point where that was most evident was when he was penalised in Canada, 5-second penalty. He would have won the race if it weren't for that, and he delayed the podium ceremony by 20 minutes. And when he did come out, he came back to Parc Fermé, where his car was not parked, and swapped the number 1 sign that was in front of Hamilton's car for the number 2 sign that was in front of the gap for his car. And that shit like that's funny for the camera, but like, I don't know how much of that was like, I'm on TV, I want to make a scene, or it was, I'm Sebastian Vettel and I'm going to make a scene.
Well, this is the thing. It's like he's a wrestling heel, like like Vettel is the heel of F1 at this point.
Specifically to Hamilton in that moment.
Specifically to Hamilton. So you know what? You guys have almost kind of talked me round that just on a pure chaos level, that a Vettel Hamilton combo would actually be quite entertaining.
That's quite a disrespectful play. I completely forgot that happened. And like, yeah, if he ends up being with the person he did that to on the same team,
just let them race.
Yeah, and I wonder like what the conversation's going to be like.
And as well, that will be the year where. That next year, that's when the budget's getting slashed massively. So Mercedes are 100% not guaranteed
to be the winners anymore.
To be the winners anymore, or to be the top dogs in anyone's game at that point. So you basically have these two, like you have someone who is on top of the world and someone who is markedly past his prime.
Yeah.
And you're putting them together. And like seeing and just letting them fight to the death, basically. Yeah, you know what? You convinced me. Yeah. I'm for it. I'm for it. Yeah. You know what? Mercedes sign Vettel. I'm for it.
Sign the petition. We should start a petition to make this happen.
Didn't even.
No, but then it makes it sound like I'm a Vettel fan. Like I don't like the guy. I just like want to see the chaos.
As a
unfold.
disclaimer, I am not a fan of Vettel.
Disclaimer: I dislike Vettel, but I just enjoy chaos.
This is a good opportunity to move on to another news story, and it is about the budget. And it is that obviously we were planning to like see in 2021 a big raft in way that the cars are engineered. That's obviously been delayed until 2022, but importantly the budget cut has not been delayed. And as far as I'm aware, I don't know if this is in our notes because I'm a hack and I didn't actually do the preparation for this stream. That I believe Formula 1 has brought forward these budget cuts. And correct me if I'm wrong.
I actually remember this bit of information, like, of what it is. So, next year, they haven't brought them, forward, they've brought them down, they've cut it even more.
Yes, I believe so. It was going to be 175 million a year, right?
Yeah, and it's now, in 2021, they're cutting it to 145 million a year.
Right.
In 2022, going on to 140 million, and then in 2023, and from then on, will be 135 million.
And they're doing that in increments now over the next few seasons.
Really, they're reducing the budget even more. It was going to be cut to 175, it's now going to be cut to 135 by 2023, which will start next year going down in 5 million increments.
Right.
But still, we're going down from Mercedes having a running budget of, I think, something around $500 million a year.
It's going to be a fifth of that.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
It's going to be just over a fifth.
It's so mad that they're still using
basically,
so much money.
Basically taking down every team to Williams' budget.
Yeah, which is again why it's so frustrating what happened to Williams, because it's like this was it. All they needed to hold him for a little bit longer.
Well, this is the comedic error
that guy buying him out.
of the Formula 1 rumour mill, is that that budget alteration was announced, and the day after Williams revealed that they were going to start selling themselves.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
So it is a sad
And
time
sorry,
for
Elsie,
Williams.
Just say yeah, no, it is. So I thought you said glad time for a second. I was like, wait, no, you were saying about potentially that they were gonna have this budget cut like for 2021 still. So like it's still going down, but is that what you were saying?
You know, next year in 2021, it's going down to 140.
But not for this season, like nothing.
Not for
to do
so
this season.
yeah. I mean, I just
okay,
I
yeah.
misremembered because I'm dumb.
But no, I think I was me being dumb because of course it wasn't going to happen for this season. But yeah,
it's never gonna happen.
it's definitely happening
was always going to be a holding
for
pattern
next
for
season.
2021.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's like, and it's amazing how like the boring season, just almost basically half of it was just stricken off.
Yeah. And now it's somewhat exciting just because it's Formula 1 that made it through the coronavirus, which is sort of giving it some kind of spark of enjoyment.
Well, this is the thing. It's like if Williams is looking for a buyer, if Williams has basically out of money, how are they racing in 2 weeks?
Oh.
Or 3 weeks, I suppose. 3 weeks.
They stated that they have the money to continue.
This season.
Yes. No. They have
Right, so
explicitly stated that they are able to race. But the reason that they've done this is because they know that they're going to be out of money by the time these budget cuts come in.
Right.
Oh, you cannot move in the braking zone like that. What? See that shenanigans on your screen.
Oh, yeah, we just got it. Yeah, like as soon as you reacted, I wanted to see
Utter
what was happening.
madman.
You got ahead of it.
Oh, yeah, innit? You made it work. Did they do much damage to you?
Yeah, no, so my front wing's busted. I'm only in sector 2, so I don't know if they'll be able to. But I'm very annoyed about that.
Yeah, that was just
a big move.
immediately, like, suddenly started coming towards you. That was terrifying.
Ugh,
So out of the blue.
let's take a moment to breathe.
Take deep breaths, buddy. You got
Deep
this.
breaths. Hopefully, I don't think I got a warning for it,
Take
so
composure.
we should possibly be on for A rating after this.
Yeah, you should.
Fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
no, you wouldn't get penalised for that.
Be unfair. I feel like the system's smart enough to know whose fault it is, right? Or
Yeah.
at least, is it?
Well,
Have you
I
had
mean, you
issues
say
with
that, but you know, I raise my eyebrows on occasion.
Oh, really? I
But to be
suppose.
fair, it's one of those things where, like,
it's-
that's quite realistic.
yeah,
Because, like, you often raise your eyebrows at the steward's decision.
right.
I'm proud of that though. Second, I was gonna beat that guy regardless. I
Yeah,
had the
he
pace.
just sort of made it more like
Yo! I
dramatic.
just, like, thought, what if Codemasters, like, program into the game sometimes the decisions it makes are just wrong, just for realism's sake?
Yeah,
God.
like a sort of like bias.
That would be-
algorithm
Yeah,
that lets
exactly.
the, like.
That would be the worst marketing campaign ever.
No, that's the genius part. They
Do
don't
you
tell
see?
you,
Oh,
it's to
can you say?
create that
Do you see that
realism.
disgusting cream-coloured car? The guy who won. You'll see it on your screen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I actually
Man, these
wrecked.
people look in F1 2019 look so janky.
Right. It's very
funny
uncanny.
because occasionally when I've looked over at these, because of the compression though, I've had to admit I thought it looked real for a second. I thought we were looking at real footage because I've seen the confetti make
Yeah.
the resolution tank on television, so I guess I'm just associating that.
It always does that thing.
2 races until promotion.
Yeah. I
So
know
I'm
the
at
it's just, like,
100% on B.
visuals.
And it says 2 races until promotion. I'm
Oh,
50
hell yeah.
points away from gold skill as well. So this has been
Nice.
a profitable evening so far. I'm very happy.
Proud of you. Oh,
Uh,
yeah, this is an interesting story. Apparently, F1 has decided to ban motorhomes for drivers. Feeds because we're looking at the game still.
And wait, why? Have they done
Because
that?
apparently, because of COVID-19,
Oh, does it have an effect? What effect would it have?
I'm not sure. this is the thing. They're
I guess I could see it being an
I'm
issue.
just like trying.
No, honestly, I'm thinking out loud to fill space because I know you're currently reading the article. But yeah, like if it was a case of not, but like yeah, if you keep your motorhome to yourself.
Basically, okay, so basically it's to keep people off the paddock when they don't have to be there. So all the teams just stay in their own hotels, and they all just stay separate, and so no one's staying on the paddock. Like
It's not tempting anyone to go for a cheeky like cigarette together, shit like that.
So no groups of mingling or anything like that. So and also they said apparently they're going to be having testing on site at the paddock to be testing people constantly. So that's good. That's good. Go F1.
That is good.
For that.
It always makes me really.
Good job,
just,
F1.
I don't know. It's like an unfixable problem where, like, I hear about. I don't know. Joe Rogan's podcast was the most recent example of this. A few others where he has tests that people can use, so he can still do his podcast. And then, like, America, England too, but America especially is like so low on tests.
Oh yeah.
That it can barely even test like the population of one state.
Like, damn, where are you getting these tests?
Well, no, this thing is that it's a flaw in the American healthcare system, or the healthcare systems generally, more than it is them being entitled, because they're able to just go on the internet and buy them, whereas hospitals don't operate that way. But it's that thing of like, it's an unfixable problem, because it is good that Formula 1 is testing. It just kind of feels like pissing in the face of people who couldn't get tests from the fucking governments in their country, you know.
Well, actually, this was a thing that Lewis Hamilton said when he showed symptoms. He isolated for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And actually said, like, I'm not getting myself tested
because it seems like
people need these tests
more than I do.
More than I do, and like I'm only showing mild symptoms, so I can just isolate. Like, it's fine.
Like there was this celebrity who was worried about symptoms, possibly not even that they had them, just they thought they might, and they were like, "Oh, don't worry," they posted on social media, "I got tested like 3 times. I'm definitely haven't got it," and didn't expect their fans to like jump on them for that.
Idris Elba, who said that he got tested positive, but he tested without symptoms.
Oh.
It's not like I wasn't showing any symptoms, and I tested positive. And a lot of people coming out, and it's just like, isn't it interesting that the rich and famous actor can get tested with symptoms,
with 0 symptoms. That's so true.
Like a lot of people can't get tested with symptoms, but yes, that is sort of an unfixable problem on F1's side. Like they can only do what they can do. So
unfixable, like the weather. We're qualifying in the rain at Sochi.
Nice.
As far as I can tell, the only races that are actually fully cancelled and not just postponed are obviously Australia, Monaco, and the Dutch Grand Prix.
And Vietnam.
Those are the only ones.
Vietnam isn't going to take place until 2021 either.
Oh, is that actually been cancelled?
I believe so.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I thought you were going to say something else.
No, sorry, I'm just reading through our list. So I suppose that brings us to the latest development, which
this is
the new confirmed calendar.
Yes, well, yes. We are going to be racing, and it's quite an interesting calendar, what it's shaping up to be, because I don't think we've ever had a season that really looks like this. We're starting off with a double header. The first 2 weekends of July, we're going to be racing at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. So we're going to have 2 races back to back at the same track, and there are 3 circuits confirmed that are going to be having 2 race weekends this season.
Yeah, it's and the other being, well, after the second race at the Red
I see
Bull
what
Ring.
you mean. Sorry, so there were going to be multiple races on one track.
Yeah, so basically they're just doing 2 Austrian Grand Prix on the first 2 weekends. Also, we're getting races every weekend of July. we're getting on the 3rd, the 10th, the 17th, and the 31st.
Because the upshot of this
not normally have happened.
upshot of this pandemic
normally
is that we've had a big long break, so they've taken out the summer break from the middle of the calendar. So we are having pretty much, it's either going to be racing every week or every other week until December.
Well, the only gap of a week that we have is between. In fact, no, you don't even have that. It's every week from July 3rd till September 4th. Every week, 2 months, we have a race.
Wow, and then that's all the races.
Well, that's all the races that are confirmed so far.
Right.
So
Didn't even know. Oh,
races, after the 2 Austrian races at the beginning of July, we've got the 3rd race in July is Hungary, which is the Hungarian Grand Prix, and then we have the first of the 2 British Grand Prix, now, which are at Silverstone, which the second of which is officially the Emirates Formula 1 70th anniversary Grand Prix.
Wow.
I love that they're calling it that. That's so dumb.
Yeah, that is what it's officially called.
I don't understand. So what's the significance then of Emirates? Like,
It's just the sponsorship.
right. I see.
Emirates
Yeah,
Airlines.
I see. Okay.
And so after that, we have a Spanish Grand Prix on the 14th of August. We have the Rolex Belgian Grand Prix,
Nice.
which is the only one they have a title sponsorship for, on August 28th. And then, oh no, actually, yeah, looking at that, we do have 2 weeks between the Spanish and the Belgian Grand Prix. So I take back what I said earlier. There is one 2-week
Gap.
between the Spanish and Belgian Grand Prix, and then we have the Italian Grand Prix on September 4th, and those are the only confirmed ones so far. However, they said that in the coming weeks, this came out on. Tell me when this was published. It does not. This came out in the last week, and they're hoping to have a total of 15 to 18 races before they apparently are still planning on ending the season in December. So originally, apparently there was some talk that this season would stretch into 2021, but apparently they are hoping to, because they only need.
That's what I heard too.
They actually only need these races. I'm guessing this is why they've done this.
Right.
Like, this is the confirmed calendar for now, because this would count as a full season. They could stop here, and that would still technically count because they only need 8 races. So
Which would be
like
fascinating.
All of this is only 8. Sorry, say that again, Elsie.
It's going to be fascinating to see either having a very short 8-race season where every race matters, where every race is really important. Like, in a longer season, you see that, like, some of these drivers can have some dud weekends. Lewis Hamilton was capable of having dud weekends in the 2019 Formula 1 season, and he still comfortably won the championship, I think, by the US Grand Prix.
Yeah.
So it's either fascinating to be seeing, like, either a short season where all the races are really important, and because, like, everybody's been off for 3 months not doing any testing. Like, it's only now about 3 weeks before we head off for the first race of the season, a driver's starting to get back into, like, practicing in real cars.
Wow, that's a really good point.
Yeah, Mercedes is the first one that started to do testing.
And
like,
well, actually,
just
also
the other
Lando
day.
Norris has been able to be going around in an F3 car this week as well,
Oh, that's good.
as far as I know.
But yeah, so that another thing about these is that, of course, because of everything that's going on, these are all going to be closed events. So no
I was
spectators
thinking
at any of
this
them.
because the 2-week gap, obviously, it feels pretty drastic to just completely eradicate that between all the races. But actually, the planning of these events is going to be much easier
Much
now that you
easier.
don't have to account for people. So that makes sense.
Yeah, and also, but like as you say, Elsie, it's a thing of like, shit, what was I gonna say?
Oh, was this to do with what we were talking about? How they're going to be closed events? And
No,
there's no one
before
there.
that.
What did Elsie say?
I don't remember.
I was
Do you
just
remember,
saying that
Elsie?
it's going to be exciting to see either an
Yes,
8-race.
no, I remember.
I mean, I
now.
just wanted to say, I've been given the
Even-
opportunity. It's going to be exciting to see either an 8-race, all-important calendar, or a really very heavily crammed together 15-race in, what is it, 6 months? 5 months?
Yeah.
15 races in
Yeah.
5 months. That's on
And
average
that is an
5.
option, right?
Well,
Five-
that's what they want to do 15 to 18 races.
Mad.
Yeah, so that's
in
going to be
5
between
months.
3 and 5 races a month on
Yeah.
average.
Which is insane. And also the fact that even if, regardless of any of that, the season was supposed to be 23 races.
Yeah.
That's taken down to 15. It's already every race matters. Like, a dud weekend could completely wipe you out. And like, if it's dud enough, like, yeah, if Lewis Hamilton has a few bad weekends, he could like legitimately, conceivably, be overtaken and
So-
not win.
And
it's also... Oh, sorry, go on.
well, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is it might foreseeably be that the first time in this turbo hybrid V6 era, we're going to see a world championship go down to the wire in Abu Dhabi. And
This
well,
is what I was going to
definitely
ask.
for
You
the
think
first
that could
time
happen,
since
right?
2016, when I believe it went down to the wire when Nico Rosberg won his championship. That was in Abu Dhabi.
Right.
But that was
What, and
that
that's
was
the
different.
final race.
That was the final race. That was
Is what
different because it
decided
was they were teammates. This could very well easily go down to the wire with a plethora of, I think, at least up to 6 drivers competing for it. You know, it's possible.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe I'm saying this in 2020, but like if Red Bull are on form, not only is Max Verstappen a championship contender, but in his second ever season in Formula 1, Alex Albon might be a championship contender.
Yeah, possibly. Who knows?
It really does change the dynamic, because I was thinking as well, you could have someone could just clean up, and then you could decide that you would figure out they were going to win much sooner, because there's just less time to make up for it in the next races. You can end up with a champion. I mean, that would have to be insane. Like, someone would have to be consistently winning one after another. But you know, like, it does completely stir up like how this is going to go down.
Watch
And
this
it's-
to be all completely wrong and Hamilton just dominates the whole season again.
Yeah.
You say that, but like Red Bull historically always very strong at the Red Bull Ring. It's a track that suits their car. The
Yeah.
first 2 seasons of it, you know, we could potentially see Red Bull coming home from those first 2 races with at least 50 points.
Yeah, that would put them really, give them a real advantage.
Oh, good pass. Well done, that guy. If you haven't been, we haven't been paying attention to this race, but this race has been an absolute bust.
Oh,
I started on pole position. I started in pole position,
damn.
and immediately I was rammed into the wall.
Ooh.
So
Yeah,
I had to
goodness, all of
pit.
that.
I had to pit, and that's why I'm battling with third position here, because first and second are like probably 30 seconds up the road. And this is the
Fair.
last lap, and I can't be afford to be making mistakes like that.
Ooh, yeah, just caught it. Ooh.
He's got a good gap, but I've still got the DRS coming up now. Ah,
Nice, that corner was really good.
running out of fuel. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch him. Oh, I believe, sorry, I've got a penalty anyway, so it doesn't matter if I overtake him, I'm going to finish last anyway.
What was the penalty for?
It was for that first lap incident. Apparently it was my fault.
Oh, eyebrow raising.
Yep. You can hear my eyebrows raised there, actually. I got
Okay.
second. How did
It
I
was
finish
apparently.
second? Apparently I finished second.
Oh! Was it
Bizarre.
not you? Was it someone else who got the penalty then?
I'm guessing, I've no idea. I definitely went across the line in
Okay, though.
fourth, but it's just registered me as second. My guy's there on the podium. I'm gonna skip this.
Maybe first and second have penalties, bro.
We're gonna
Yeah.
find this out in a second. So the skill goes up to 1977. The safety stays at 100%. One race into promotion,
Nice.
rattling towards
100%
level
safety that
43. I got 100% safety again. 3 people had penalties. Somebody DNF'd. Somebody in the top 2 must have DNF'd in that last lap.
Oh damn!
Must
like
have
completely
retired.
spun out or something.
That is the 3rd race in a row I have finished in 2nd. Okay,
Wow,
it helps the
nice.
fact that there have not been many people in this lobby, and that is about to immediately change because we go into the lobby and we've got 8 people. So this is going to already be a much more chaotic race.
I think
literally gonna be the fucking Belgian Grand Prix. I forget what year.
In
what
98.
happened in Belgium.
Yeah.
It was recently on F1
Turn
Rewind.
1, it was like complete. You know what? In fact, I'm just gonna show you
Yeah.
the clip on stream.
This is it. If anybody's watching right now and you don't know about this clip, just open in a new tab, a new YouTube page, and search for F1 Belgium 1998 crash, because it is the most ridiculous Formula 1 incident I've probably ever seen in my life. Maybe only topped by like Mark Webber going airborne in Valencia in 2011.
Alright, here we go.
Yeah, I've definitely never seen this before. I'm excited. Should we maybe turn it down?
So they started.
Yeah, talk us through it.
Yeah, they're starting.
It's
completely
already
wet.
devolved. Yeah, like fucking rain spraying up
scrap.
everywhere.
And then Kostic
Oh.
goes off there, and then yep, here we are. And
Oh.
It's coming. Here we go.
Oh my sweet Christ, that's so many cars. You couldn't even see. It was just a cloud, and then out
Yeah.
of the cloud comes like
Just comes.
Coulthard spearing
half
across
half
the
the
track
cars. Yeah.
and collects about 3 cars, I think.
Wait,
So I
collects?
think- Yeah, well, that's what I meant. Yeah, no, he's like, yeah, he goes across the track and 3 cars end up like T-boning him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like it was more than 3 that eventually came out of
I
that,
think
like, without
in that
being
incident,
able to
I think it
move.
was 14 cars that were affected by it.
Yeah.
My God,
That's
my God.
2/3 of the grid.
And then the race, I guess after that, they still have to race. So, like, all those cars.
they had a red flag, so they stopped the race for
Right.
like a solid hour, and then
So they could, like,
while they
clear up
cleared
all the
track,
cars,
and
yeah.
then, like back then they had spare cars,
Oh.
so they just like some of them popped in new cars. I think some of them just couldn't race.
If they didn't have
and
the
then-
car, right?
Yeah, and then Michael Schumacher had an incident later on in the race
With David Coulthard again. David
with
Coulthard.
David Coulthard, who
Oh, yeah,
Who
Channel
was
Channel 4.
who was the cause of that crash at the beginning.
Oh, wow.
Lost control of his car on the wet. It was
He
an
was
accident.
he
It
was
an
patient
accident.
zero,
He
right?
was
Like,
patient
yeah.
zero of that crash, and then he later on had an incident with Michael Schumacher, which spat him off the track, and he had to retire.
Oh,
and
damn.
it basically lost the championship.
And then is that the last one he raced? Is that the last one he did, or did he?
No,
do it
actually,
after that?
David
No, I mean,
Coulthard's-
Coulthard.
David Coulthard stayed in Formula 1 all the way until 2006. He was actually... He
Right.
went across from McLaren to Red Bull Racing when they bought Jaguar. So he raced for Red Bull Racing for the last stretch of his career. And I believe that when he retired, he was replaced by Sebastian Vettel. I might be wrong by
wow.
that. I might be
No,
wrong
I
about that.
think-
Wait, no,
that rings a bell,
because
actually.
Vettel, oh no, of course, yeah.
No, I think I think I'm wrong about that because Coulthard retired in 2006. It wasn't until 2008 that Vettel won the Italian Grand Prix with Toro Rosso. So I'm wrong. I misremembered.
I also possibly was just getting confused with the fact that I think Coulthard and Vettel were teammates at one point, though, right? I'm sure I remember.
I don't think so.
David
No,
Coulthard
because
saying that.
no, I think Coulthard left actually before Vettel even came into the sport.
Oh, fair. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, fair. I have a very strong memory of Coulthard like chiding Vettel in one of his like commentaries and was saying like, you know, like, I've worked with the guy, so I assumed that meant. But to be fair, could have meant professionally, as in being a presenter.
I think we're getting a bit
I'm looking
pedantic.
this up.
I'm not sure it's too big a deal. Not that I'm calling you out.
Actually, I have to say, David Coulthard apparently competed in 50 seasons of Formula 1 between 1994 and 2008.
Oh, mad. So maybe I was right. He was he was replaced by Vettel.
Yeah.
Oh, mad.
So in 2008.
Yeah, they both drove for Red Bull together. I've got a picture here of them two standing next to each other. In
Bizarre. I completely forgot that then.
Possibly, yeah. To be fair, this image could just be him in his old gear next to Vettel in his new gear. Like he was still the day, like that was them being replaced, so they didn't race together.
I think Vettel's in Toro Rosso garb there actually.
Pretty horrific start to this race, by the way. Started in third.
Yeah,
and I'm already down to fifth. And I've just cut the corner.
Oh, buddy.
Naughty.
Yeah, because it says like 2008 was his last season in Formula 1, and he was hit for a Rosso drive.
Yeah,
So,
right.
it was before the British Grand Prix where he was hit by Toro Rosso.
That's what I'm remembering.
Announced that he would retire from Formula 1. So that's it. He would remain at Red Bull as a testing and development consultant. So he works at Red Bull, which is why this is
Look at
and
what
you knew
has
him
just
through
happened
that,
to
not
me
by
on
driving
the
together.
screen. I am so upset.
Here we go.
Oh!
What happened? Oh my goodness!
Oh my god, this is your very own Belgium.
That's it.
Damn, that's it, you're out. Oh, buddy.
Wow. Rip.
I'm
Rest in
annoyed that
peace.
you can't make your character act like a complete dickhead about it.
Some kind of button combination lets you like kick the car or something.
It lets you go up to the other driver and tell him to suck your balls.
Replace
Thanks,
a
Kevin.
fucking
fair though,
cone that
Magnussen
says
was
you're
in
in
the right
first.
there.
Magnussen?
Nico
In the
should have
right?
gone and sucked
Is
his
this a
balls.
dream? Have we covered everything? Have we done all our big bombshell
I think we've
stories from
covered
the
all
last 3
news,
months?
I think that's the big news.
One thing you didn't cover. Oh, sorry. Go on. What were you gonna say?
No, carry on.
Well, it was that you mentioned before that we were jumping the gun by talking about Vettel potentially having a German teammate, this driver, and then you said it would make sense once we covered a later story.
Saying that Hamilton would have a certain German teammate.
Oh, never mind. Then I'm just like misremembering things. The other thing I was going to say is that I'm incredibly tired, so I'm sorry if I'm a bit
it's
messy.
Midnight, which
Yeah.
you need to
I need
get
to
up
go.
tomorrow,
I need
so,
to go
like,
to
you
bed
probably need to
soon.
go fairly soon.
Okay. Well,
So yeah, what were you going to say, my guy?
let me take a 30 second 60 second comfort break. Chat amongst
Also,
yourselves.
By the way, we've been going. I don't know if you can tell, but we've been going for 97 minutes.
Wow, we managed
Hell
to
yeah.
talk some bullshit tonight.
Legit.
Well, I mean, like, I wanted to move on and do sort of like a track preview, but I guess now that we've done this sort of recap, we now have an understanding that we can have sort of like the first half of our news catch up as the first half, and now we were planning to do sort of like a track preview of one of the tracks that we were confirmed to be going back to, but I guess we've run out of time because we've been going for 100 minutes.
Yeah,
Still
my
not
guy,
as
I'm
long as
sorry.
an
I would
Ari
not-
Aster
I would
movie.
normally
Also,
let you guys carry on,
No
but
one's watching.
it's my. Oh. Hey, people
fine,
might
it's
watch it when it gets re-uploaded. Apart from
No,
anything else,
totally.
right? This is
Well,
good, though. I
okay. All
enjoyed
I'm saying
this
is
a
like
lot.
this has not been as long as an Ari Aster movie, but I don't want to make it like that. So, we'll forego the track preview. But that is something I know it says so in the description. That is something that will be coming in the next stream that we do. We'll be coming back and regularly covering Formula 1 news on a regular basis.
Well, yeah, we won't have to cover 3 months worth of news normally.
We won't.
Yeah.
So this sort of discussion normally won't be about 100 minutes. But next time you join us, which is probably hopefully going to be next Wednesday evening, and hopefully next time we do it, we'll be able to do it just a tiny bit earlier in the evening. You know, we were caught up with some technical glitches and like just faffing about.
We say what, like 9 o'clock rather than 10:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts at 10:30.
Yeah. No, okay. And I was gonna say, because we're covering less news next week, we being you and Elsie, me, not necessarily. If you guys want me to come back, did I say?
We always love you to come back, you know.
I meant to say Lisa and you even. Is that like when you cover the news, you could possibly do a few more of those track previews, right? You could do like maybe 2 or 3.
Well, no, this is what I'm saying is that we'll try and like cover something that's obviously very interesting in next week's episode. You can tell that we're making this up on the spot, but we'll obviously focus these weekly videos on the upcoming race of the week. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll definitely be coming up live with a preview for the Austrian Grand Prix. But next week, maybe we should put a poll out somewhere and get people to choose.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
So yeah, we'll
Am I allowed to vote? Or would that
Of
be
course,
like
you're allowed to
inside
vote.
trading?
Yeah.
Okay, hell yeah.
I'll put it on my Instagram story a day before we go live next week. So yeah, that's what's coming up on the next edition of vroomula1 Live. We're going to be doing more. I didn't make it to my A safety rating today, and I didn't make it to my gold rating, but this is the first time I've ever been at 100% on B safety rating, so I think it's been a successful night.
Damn.
And I haven't really gone down anywhere. I haven't really gone down on the skill, which I'm happy with. I think what has been to my benefit is these lobbies have been quite small. Aside from those last 2 races, which were a bit of a mess, I racked up quite. I think 4 or 5 podium finishes, which I'm quite proud of. This guy is about to win the race.
Yeah, you got second on 3 races, right?
Yeah, I finished second, 3 on the bounce, which I'm proud of. So yeah, there's more F1 ranked coming next week. There's going to be more. We'll be covering any more F1 news that we see. Any rumours? We're going to be cranking that rumour mill.
Any hot F1 goss?
Any hot takes, unpopular opinions?
And tough questions.
There we go.
We are truly the tabloid rag of F1 YouTube.
That should be the sun.
Except we've got more integrity than any tabloid ever.
I mean, it's true, but only because we have integrity about having zero integrity.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're open about it.
I'm open about the fact that I'm completely biased.
Well,
Anyway.
okay, so yes, so that's coming up next week. The latest F1 news, shenanigans in F1 ranked, and we'll be previewing a track of the audience's choice. So that's all coming up next Wednesday, hopefully live at about 9 o'clock. Subscribe, ring the bell if you're watching after this has been broadcast.
Ding, ding, ding.
And it just gives me an opportunity to say, JJ, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You had
for
a good
having
time?
Me. Yeah, I had a great time. I'm sorry I'm a bit of a mess now. I hope I held my composure for the majority of the thing.
Darling, you were beautiful.
Oh,
And
thanks,
I
darling.
have to give an absolute hats off to the person pulling most of the information strings. Lisa sat with a laptop in front of them, pulling out all of the golden juicy
Yay.
nuggets of information. Thank you so much.
Hell
Go
To-
me, honestly.
Go you. That's all I can say.
Go me.
Well done. You did a good job. I'm actually well impressed at all of your like research and stuff, man.
Lisa was great.
Would have been
That's
lost.
what we're putting on your gravestone.
Otherwise.
Wait, what?
Lisa was great. That's what we're putting on your gravestone.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
So thumbs up.
You
Well, thank you for having us.
you
Elsie.
can
Yeah.
where
Get
can
all
we
this out.
follow you, Lisa?
I'm on Twitter at I think it's at LisaTVQ. I think that's what it is. And you can find my music at lisathebeautyqueen.bandcamp.com. Check that out. That's pretty much all I have to plug, to be honest.
My name's Else. You can find me at visionsickness everywhere, and you can also now follow at vroomula1. That's the number 1 on Instagram, where we're going to be posting some hot garbage memes and clips from all of our lives and all of the episodes that we make. So just gives me the opportunity. I will say once again, thanks you two for joining me.
You're welcome.
problem.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you to everybody who watched. My name's Else, and we'll see you very soon.